would like to welcome you all to yet another interesting webinar on education and training in the field of artificial intelligence, mathematics, and computer technologies. My name is Menaakshi and I am the scientific coordinator at the French Embassy in India. And with me once again, I have my dear colleague, Mr. Rachit Dhawan, Campus France Manager in Delhi, who will be co-moderating this session along with me. Today's topic is quite relevant in the current scenario. It is clear that this is the first major pandemic taking place in a digital world. It has made us realize the importance of advanced computer technologies that are keeping us connected amid this pandemic. Today, we have an amazing panel where we will be talking about the education and research in the field of AI, quantum computing, big data, machine learning, algorithms, mathematics, and cybersecurity to provide information to all the prospective students who wish to carry their studies in France in any of these fields. So let's get started with the panel introduction first. Our first panelist for today is Professor Jan Busnel. He's the head of Department for Network Systems, Cybersecurity, and Digital Law Department at Institut Nice Telecom at Rennes campus. He has also been very closely associated with our biannual Choose France 2 series, which is dedicated to the student mobility. Our second panelist is Ms. Lauriane Blandel. She is the head of International Office at IMT Nantes campus. Our third panelist for today is Mr. Rudresh Mishra. He's an Indian student who's doing his MSc in IT Data Sciences at IMT Press campus. I will take a few moments from each of these panelists to briefly introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about their background. So let's begin with Professor Jan. If you can introduce yourself.
Yes, thank you very much for the introduction. So I'm Jan Busnel. I'm currently head of the Department of Network Systems, Cybersecurity, and Digital Law at the Rennes campus of IMT Atlantic in the west part of France. So my research specialty is in AI, and especially how to deal with a really large amount of data that is collected in real time, like in the live streaming data, and how we can use some AI in order to infer some cybersecurity attack or to monitor networks in the real world. And we offer some programs in cybersecurity, in artificial intelligence, IoT, and digital platform and on cloud in my campus. But that's not only the same the program that we propose, and we will give you more information afterwards.
Well, thank you so much. Next we can start with Lauriane, if you could.
Sure. Yes, hi everyone. So I'm Lauriane Blandel. I'm the head of IMT Atlantic's International Office on Nantes campus. Really happy to be here with you today. In terms of background, well, after working for the French Embassy in the US, I came back to France, and I'm not working in international affairs in higher education. My job is basically to make students study abroad and recruit international students to come and study at IMT Atlantic. Our goal is to attract the best students in the world to IMT Atlantic. So I'm here to answer all your questions and to present our programs, and hopefully to meet you very soon on campus.
Thank you, Lauriane. Rudresh, could you introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Thank you for the opportunity, first of all. And currently, I'm a data science student in the Brest campus of IMT Atlantic. So my specialization is in the field of learning more of machine learning algorithms and mostly deep dive into the mathematics module of machine learning. As of now, I'm doing my internship at Amadeus. It's a part of end module which we have to carry out for 6 months. And yeah, and thanks again, for giving me an opportunity to represent my college. Thank you.
Thank you, Rudresh. And Rachit, please go ahead.
So I'm Rachit Dhawan. I'm the manager at Campus France in New Delhi. As you know, Campus France is the official government agency for the French government, which promotes higher education in France, research in France, and it's your point of contact for your destination and your passage to France. So me and Menaakshi, we both work at the French Institute in India, which looks after cultural and university cooperation in India for the French government.
That's great. Thank you all for the introduction. I'll take this session forward. And my first question is for Professor Yan. Professor Yan, given that President Macron has made artificial intelligence a priority of France, so what is the basic strategy of France for education and research in the field of AI, and why students should choose France as their first destination for their studies in the field of AI, mathematics, and computer technologies?
Okay, thank you for this question. I think we can start maybe the slide supports, because I have a lot of answer of this question directly in the introduction of the supports. So just wait 1 second that the support will start.
Can you see it?
Yes. So just to introduce the difference between the higher education system in France, between the one within India. In France, we have two main ways to conduct a higher education. The first one is the classical one. It's the same one in all the European university. It's based on a 3-year bachelor, then a 2-year master's, and then a 3-year PhD. So you can stop after each step, obviously, as in India. But the main difference is that our bachelor is not 4-year bachelor, but it's a 3-year bachelor. But in parallel, in France, we have what we call the Grande École system. It's kind of technical university, highly selective, elite technical university in France that can be accessed only after 2 years of very, very competitive preparatory classes. So you have 2 years of preparatory classes that prepare you from a very selective, highly selective contest. And after this contest, you can enter on one of the Grande École, what we call Grande École, so technical university. The idea is more or less the same kind of concourse that you have when you want to enter an IIT in France. So very, very highly selective, only a small percentage of the candidates can access to this Grande École. And so the Grande École has a 3-year program that correspond to the last year of the bachelor and the 2 years of the master, according to the university systems. And so this 3-year program leads you to an engineering degree. So an engineering degree in France is the equivalent of a MTech and MSc. That depends, because some engineers choose to go for a PhD afterwards, or some engineers choose to go directly in the industry. And so they will choose during their 3-year courses which kind of education they want to go, so MSc or MTech, and then they will get the engineering degree at the end. So the idea is that we are a Grande École. We are going to present our institutes just after, but the idea is that we propose also the 2 last year of program as a MSc for foreign people in our Grande École system. And so the advantage is that you don't have to pass the competitive exam at the end of the preparatory school. You can directly enter in our Grande École system directly from outside. So this is generic in France, very common in France. And so next slide, please. The idea why I introduced that is that because we have a lot of Grande École and we have a lot of universities that propose from now some programs on IT and especially on artificial intelligence. And this is more and more the case, and that starts to raise again very high since now in France it's a quite famous talks from the President Macron about the AI for humanity. So President Macron and the government of France decide to be one of the top countries in the world as most of the world leader in artificial intelligence. We have a very, very strong background history in mathematics, in computer science in France. We have a lot of fields medals. We have a lot of of people that get also some recognition in computer science, in AI, and specifically in deep learning, where one of the creator of the deep learning is a French guy. And so the French government decided to dedicate 1.5 billion of euros for research and education in artificial intelligence, start from 2019 to 2024. And so we want the French government asked for all the university and the grand école system to doubling the number of students in AI in France for these next 5 years. So that's why you are really welcome to come in France, because we are one of the pillar of this research and of the education in the world. And moreover, we have a lot of slots to host you in France. So the main topic that the French government decided to dedicate some funding is about the health data hub. So a lot of analysis of the health data and how we can help with AI. We can help the health global system in the world, about the autonomous vehicle, about open data. And they decided last year to create an IPAI, so International Panel on Artificial Intelligence with Canada. So the kickoff starts last year with Canada. It is the equivalent of IPCC, but for artificial intelligence. Next, please. So in France, we are not only located in Paris. So everyone knows Paris, the Eiffel Tower, the perfume, luxury, etc. But Paris, that is in the north of France, quite in the middle, has a lot of university, of grand école, and laboratory that's dedicated on the artificial intelligence. You can see this cluster of laboratory, but we have a lot of laboratory in France that is dedicated on artificial intelligence, and that is really, really highly visible worldwide. For example, in Lyon, in Nice, in the Brittany. So Brittany is the west part of the France. You see this part that is going through inside the Atlantic Sea. And near Grenoble also, it is the cluster of Lyon also. So we have a lot of laboratory that really creates value and research on artificial intelligence and on all the field of artificial intelligence, not only machine learning, because usually people think that artificial intelligence it's only machine learning, it's only deep learning. But no, artificial intelligence is a really large field of research and field of education, and you can have a lot of possibility in usage, in the use case, etc. in artificial intelligence. Next, please. So just to conclude the overview and the panorama of the place where you can dedicate your next years of education in France is quite represented here by this cloud of logo. So on the west parts, on the upper part of this slide, you have what we call the Grande École. So the most famous Grande École, we have, let's say, five collection of Grande École that is really highly recognized in France. We have more than 200 Grande École in France, but let's say we have the top 10 is on this slide. So the first one is very famous, is the École Polytechnique, which is the most famous one in France. But we have some cluster. One cluster is the cluster of Centrale, so Centrale Marseille, Centrale Supélec, etc. One is another one is about statistics, which is INSEAD here. But one that is quite very famous worldwide also is what we call the Institut Mines Télécom. So Institut Mines Télécom is a collection of 11 schools, 11 technical university that is really spread on all the country, all the French country, and that trust all the 4 or 5 to the top 10 ranking in France. So you have Mines Paris Tech, you have Télécom Paris, you have Télécom IMT Atlantic. That is the 3 first in the ranking, and that trust always in all ranking in the top 10, one of the 10 first place. And last but not least, we have also university. So as I said, we have really 2 systems that is in parallel. It's not competition, but that is dedicated with different access for the student and for the education. And so obviously our university can be very, very famous in AI. So the most famous here is represented here. So we have very famous UPMC in Paris downtown, but we have also University Paris-Saclay, which is in the south part of Paris, that is very, very famous also. And some other that is really famous in artificial intelligence, which will be in Toulouse, in the southwest part of France, or Lyon, as I said, or also University Bourgogne-Franche-Comté, that is quite now more and more famous. And obviously, I cite here it very on the last way, it's University of Rennes, which is my country, my city, and where I live, and where IMT Atlantic Campus is located, and has a strong partnership also with the University of Rennes. And finally,
you so much, Professor Jan. Thank you so much for all the information that you have provided. Also, the list of the best research institution in France for information and computational technologies. Also, as we know, the strength of France in mathematics, since it ranks second in field medal for mathematics. Could you also please highlight some important research institution in France for mathematics?
By the way, there are really strong links between computer science and mathematics. And so we have all the Grande École that I talked previously, and the university that is represented here is rely on a strong background in mathematics and on strong labs in mathematics also. So in Paris, for sure, in UPMC, you have one of the most famous laboratory in mathematics in the world. We have also at École Polytechnique, or at ENS, which is dedicated for the education of researchers in France. And that's your question leads me to the last part of the slides. And the last part of the slides talk about Interdisciplinary Institute of Artificial Intelligence, which is a new institute that has been created 2 years ago by the French government in 4 places in France, one in Grenoble, one in Paris, one in Toulouse, and one in Nice, in Côte d'Azur. And the idea of these 4 places has to be the most selective and center of excellence in artificial intelligence, in mathematics, in computer science, but in applications also. So interdisciplinary institute, what we call 3IA, or Interdisciplinary Institute of Artificial Intelligence.
Thank you. That's great. I'm sure the information shared by you will really help all the prospective candidates to decide their preferred institutes. As we are focusing today on training, what does really training in AI imply, and how does it help a student acquire the skill and knowledge which is really helpful for their future?
AI is finally at the middle of several fields. So you need to study for sure a strong basis in mathematics, in specific mathematics. So we can talk about, for example, oh, sorry, I I lost my word in English. But you need to have a strong basement in specific mathematics, statistics, and data analysis in order to go in AI. So data science, that is quite a new field that became very, very famous. It's one of the pillars of the artificial intelligence also. But in my point of view, it's not only theoretical. AI should be also practical. And so only mathematics and data science will not be enough if you want to have a good background in artificial intelligence and a good diploma on that. So you need to go in practical. So you need to go deeper in programming. So programming language, dedicated programming language as R or other very computer science programming language with Java or with other Python, advanced Python courses should be a really strong requirement to study AI.
Okay, thank you so much, Professor Jan. That was really nice, and for sharing these interesting aspects on training in AI with us. And there is also a need to massively train new generation of students for AI related techniques. Now I would like to request Rachit to take session forward with Ms. Lorian and Mr. Rudresh for further discussion. Over to you, Rachit.
Thank you, Meenakshi, and thank you, Professor Rahul. That was really interesting for our students. Ms. Lorian, could you tell us a bit more about IMT Atlantique, the programs, the various MSc programs I see that are very famous at IMT Atlantique? Could you tell us a bit more about them?
Sure, of course. So as you guys might already know, IMT Atlantique is a graduate engineering school offering programs, postgraduate and graduate programs in digital technologies, energy, and the environment. And IMT Atlantique actually spans 3 campuses located in the beautiful cities of Brest, Nantes, and Rennes, as you can see on the pictures. Very green and healthy environment with a very dynamic industrial life also. As Jan said earlier, we are a member of the group IMT, which is actually the largest group of engineering and management schools. Some facts and figures about IMT Atlantique very quickly. We are a very international school with more than 40% of international students on campus. And as you can see on the slide, research is also in our DNA, as the budget dedicated to research shows. And thanks to our high quality research activities and high quality program and students, of course, we've been recognized as a technological university in some of the most prominent international rankings, as you can see on the slide, and also at the national level as one of the best French engineering schools. Maybe, Jan, you want to say a few words about research right now, or you want me to talk about our programs? Research, I think, is important.
Professor Gennad, yes?
Yes, I can just have a really short overview of what is our research field. Why we want to talk about research here in a specific panel about training. It's because in our DNA, it's all the research feeds the training part and the education part of our school, and vice versa. And so it's really hardly linked together. And so that's why we just want to have a focus on really fast and light way our research in our institute. So next, please. So our institute is based clearly on 2 major pillars. First is physics and engineering for energy and environment. And the second one is digital science for industry and services. But all this is as a transversal vision about social, economic, and management science as a transversal point of view. So here you have the cloud of words that represent all our main discipline in our institution. Next, please. But what we can see here is that we have 6 different main application of research with energy transition, digital transition, health of the future, environmental transition, industrial transition, and nuclear risk and interaction. So you can see that these six fields represent all the activity that we have for the 2 pillars that I present you just the slide previously. Next, please. So some example with some pictures about what we can do here in research and what is our expertise. So we have, as I said, an expertise in cloud and IoT, mainly in the Rennes campus, for example. Logistics and ITS also is present in our campus. We have also in Brest and in Nantes really expertise in Industry 4.0 and the usage of robotics for industry. So that's what we call cobotics, to help humans in industrial action. And also for other health. So I said that health is really important in our research, as I said. So we have some example, decision head based for surgery gestures. So we have some nice robots that help people to get recovery after an emergency, for example, in order to help them to do the good gesture in order to make them more recover. Next. For sure, we have a strong commitment in AI, and specifically in what we call neuro-inspired and embedded AI, saying that we try to simulate the real neural connection in a human in order to create a real neural-based algorithm, not that can be explainable, which is really important today in AI. Usually, the neural networks in AI are not explainable, and so it works, but we don't know why. So we study with a lot of our colleagues why it works. And we have also other fields of application of all this research about smart cities, smart object for the future of internet, smart grid, smart environment, as ITS, intelligent transportation system, radar, 3D device, physiological sensors. So we have a lot of department from electronics, microwave, signal, communication, computer science, industrial. So we have all the layer of the industry, from the really basic and nano technology to the very large scale industry. Thanks. And so there is some, I talk about human robot interaction and human avatar interaction in the health fields and in the psychological fields previously.
Excellent.
And finally, we are investigated in a lot of structures of research and innovation, and I don't want to put, this is just an example of all our partners.
Okay.
No, that was very good, Professor. That was very interesting. Can we take it ahead a bit more about the programs that are taught at IMT Atlantique, and for this year, how are you prepared? Because a lot of students are very keen to know about how is the situation right now, and can they look forward to classes? Can they look forward to more arrangements, and how is the school prepared to welcome them?
Okay. Well, currently, so all students are studying from home. We've implemented online courses, online seminars, and maybe Rudresh, who is here today, he's completing his internship, but all the classes have been pretty successful so far. And for the fall semester, we are working on various solutions. I encourage you guys to check our website. There is a video from our president dedicated to international students and announcing various measures. But basically, we're announcing on the website that we are working on opening our programs online for next fall semester, so that all the international students will be able to take classes from home. But we're also working on other solutions for students who will be able to come physically to the classroom, you know, respecting the different barriers and hygiene rules implemented by the French government.
Excellent, that's very good. And I'm sure a lot of students are keen to actually come to France, respecting the sanitary conditions. That is the new way of living for some time indeed. And I think we can take it over to Rudresh now and ask a few questions there as well. Rudresh, thank you for being with us today. Could you introduce yourself a bit to our viewers and tell us about yourself, the program you're pursuing right now?
Yeah, sure. So basically, I'll start with my background. So I studied I come from like a place which is nearby to New Delhi. So I studied my bachelor's in the field of electronics and communication. It was in the Bangalore under the Visvesvaraya Technical University, VTU. Then after completing my bachelor's, I started working with Accenture. I worked with Accenture for 3 years, so my profile was more about data analyst, and I was doing a lot of. So by then, I actually got inclined toward the field of data science because it was in the boom, and a lot of and there is actually a very good scope in the future with this particular field. So after I started looking, like started looking for the colleges like in Europe, and especially in France, because of the culture, language, and the France actually welcomes people around the world in order to grow themselves. For that, in order to know more about it, I reached out to Campus France, to get the details about about this particular college. And it's one of the best college we have in France, and as per the background research which it focuses on mainly. So yeah. So basically, I applied, and I was lucky enough to get into this college, and then after coming here, uh, uh, starting with my courses here. The first semester is like the foundation semester where they'll teach you, like they'll actually help you in building the foundations, kind of with maths, network, signals, computer science, all these particular fields. And later on, like later on, the courses are taught in French. So so when I came here, my level of French was actually not good. So but the university actually helped me, in order to build it.
That's very good.
And they were the one, like, who constantly helped us gaining more of French knowledge. So later on, I started improving my French, and getting accumulate and getting getting in sync with the French taught courses, because later on semester, like second semester onward, we have courses in French. And so after the first semester, I was in a condition to take up the courses, in the French. Take up the French courses in the second semester. Yeah, it's more about like we have a kind of profile. We can build a profile which is a research based on application based, depending on the kind of interest you have. So I was lucky enough to get in touch with good professors who are actually very deep dive into the research, who are actually very deep dive into the subject experts, like who are actually kind of subject experts. So I completed my second semester. Then after, I got a summer internship, which was a paid internship. So I got an opportunity to do my internship at IBM in Brussels. And one of my client was NATO, and it's a defense client. So again, I was lucky enough, to get this internship, which was a paid, actually. We get paid internship here all the time. And so after completing 3 months of 3 months of internship, then coming back in this college again, developing more, more, working more on the foundations courses,
That's
like
good.
machine learning, deep learning, and whatnot.
Right.
Yeah, it was so far so good. Currently, I'm doing my internship with Amadeus at it's in Nice. And
Uh-huh.
yeah, so basically I'm working more with the machine learning algorithms,
Uh-huh.
which can actually help my client in order to deal with this coronavirus situation, because I'm working with the this
Very
guest
interesting.
and hospitality team. So I have to improve them in order to gain their business in the later phase. uh, and yeah, and the college actually helped me a lot in order to prepare for this. Like they kind of conduct mock interviews with the enterprise people. They have a course where actually they will help you to build your CV, to prepare yourself, in this particular French environment, like how you can work here. Yeah, and also one of the thing which I missed out, like if you have any personal project which you really want to work, so college will actually help you in order to
That's very
like
good.
to yeah.
I think
uh,
it's one of the strong attributes for sure for a lot of students who are planning to come to IMT Atlantic and study. But do you have a message for students and an advice for them who are planning to, come to IMT Atlantic this year, or students who are looking to pursue lots of various areas in research ahead, or are planning to actually come to France and join a program similar to yours?
yeah, exactly. So first and foremost, I guess the France is actually kind of giving a very good opportunity, especially in the field of data science and AI. And the university, like IMT Atlantic, it actually helps to build very good foundation, that too in the field of data science or AI. So I will, if somebody is looking forward to come, definitely, it's a very good time, that too. It's still the Corona situation is like it's going on, but in a, but it's still a lot of my friends, even after having such situation, they were able to get their internship, and they are actually doing it pretty well. Some are doing remotely. So
Mhm.
I don't think there is any barrier in as such, And as far as like more of research is concerned, the college itself, if you really want to focus on research part, you can, after doing your master, you can start doing your PhD here, or they are very like I guess college also have contact with good, very diverse labs around France, which can actually help you. I mean, you can get in touch with them and actually carry out your research. So yeah, and for most French language, is I mean, it's better to have a French language if you really want to get involved, within the like French culture and all. But yeah, so
Yes, we
it's like
always
that.
tell this to students. Learning French is actually one of the best ways to integrate in France, to look for more opportunities, and really to actually move ahead in the French society. It's excellent. It's always a good idea to start before they leave. We always suggest that for lots of people who have not started. And really, the immersion is very strong in France. So when you do arrive and you have some skills already, it's easier to pick up and move ahead and improve your skills as well. So that's very good and excellent. I mean, I'm sure the views you've shared with us, with our students and our viewers today, it's really commendable and very important for them, but quite inspiring to hear your story as well.
Yeah, exactly. And one of the last thing which I'll add is the campus is very awesome here. I mean, the campus is alongside beach, so you have I mean, I guess it's one of the best campus we have. So
Yes,
yeah.
definitely. Congratulations, Rudresh, on learning French so quickly, because it's a challenge. And all international students joining our MSc IT, they start with a semester in English and then they follow courses in French, and they're all doing very well. And we are so proud of them because it's a challenge, but we are really equipping them with different classes and programs to help them learn French. And that's what makes our MSc IT so special, because at the end of the program, students are high quality experts in their field, and they also speak French. So if they want to find a job in France or in Europe or somewhere else in the world in a French-speaking country, or work for a French company, it's definitely a plus.
Thank you so much for this motivating comments. Yeah, thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Rudresh. Thank you, Lauren, for such excellent presentation. Also, the information that has been provided is really informative for all the students, all the prospective students. Before we wrap up, I have a last question for my panelists. As we know that AI is the technology of future, but what is the scope, as Lauren, she was saying that student can enroll in, can work with industries. So basically, what is the scope after graduating in AI, and what are the different career opportunities for them? Hello.
You want
Yes.
to answer, Marianne?
You can go ahead. You mean in terms of, there are two different options, I'd say. As Rudresh said, students with after graduation in our MSc-IT, they can either work for the industry. There are various companies in France hiring our students, and more than 97% of IMT Atlantic find a job within 2 months after graduation. So this is definitely not a problem for them. So they can work in France or worldwide, because our degrees are recognized worldwide. But as Rudresh said, they can definitely continue with a PhD. So they can try to find a PhD position either at IMT Atlantic or somewhere else in France in another lab. And this is definitely an option for them, as studying in France for 2 years give them the opportunity to meet professors, create their own network with the professors and get to know how research works in France. And it really facilitates finding a PhD position. So I would say that these are the different job opportunities, either in the industry or in research. I don't know, Jan, if you want to say something else.
Yeah, according to the kind of job that they can get in the industry, for example, mainly our students go in 3 different fields of industry and private company, let's say. First one is the one about networks, but networks in a very large way, not only networks as computer networks, because networks is with the line of provider, internet provider, or internet services like Orange, like Google, like Facebook, etc. hire our students for sure, but also networks of energy. So we have a lot of people that go into EDF, that is the national French electricity company, or this kind of Veolia or Vinci, etc. But so this is the first field, let's say, in networks in a large run. The second field is maybe the industry, but main industry like we have it in mind in the 20th century. Let's say the hard industry, where our student is very famous to deal with supply chains, with how to optimize supply chain using, for example, AI, that is really strong with Airbus, with Naval Group, with what we have a lot of partnerships with this kind of good industry, Veolia, etc. And the last but not least, a lot of our students go also into a specific service providing company like consultants, like Capgemini or this kind of society that bring the best brain in order to help different industry and different company in there to create new programs, to create new products as a consultant. So we have a large part of our students that go there. And last but not least, what is really important here is, has been said by Lorian, is that all our students, they get a permanent position less than 2 months after their graduation, but 60 or 70, I forget the exact numbers, get a permanent position before being graduated, during their internship.
Thank you so much, Professor Yan. Do you have any message for our Indian students who wish to pursue their studies in France? Because you keep meeting them during our Choose France Choose events. You know what they're exactly looking for. So do you have any message for them?
They are really welcome in France. So France love foreign people. Sometimes French people has some cliche from the Indian one, but you don't have to trust it. You have to come in France to see exactly what is France and what is the exactly French culture of life, which is quite famous worldwide. Hopefully, this way of life will start again in a couple of weeks after this pandemic crisis will be over and behind us. And we can say that we start again. The lockdown is finished in France. From now, we start again to have some liberty to leave our house, and the restaurant and the bar and the theater and all the culture of France will start again during June. And so in the next fall, when you join us, or next year, French culture of living will be really happy to host you.
Okay, thank you so much. We are really hopeful that things will get better soon. And Dorian, do you have any message, any specific message to share?
Sure, of course. Just come to France. I mean, France knows that some of the best brains are in India, and we really want to cooperate with India. So just come to France. You understood through the presentation that France is definitely one of the leading countries in artificial intelligence, but not only. So we have various programs with excellent professors coming from all over the world. And the good news is tuition fees in France are lower than anywhere else in the world. Why? Because the French government subsidizes our programs. And should jump at this opportunity, because you can get high quality training with tuition fees that are affordable. So go ahead. Also, for all of you guys who attended this webinar, this Facebook Live, you can benefit from a tuition fee waiver if you apply for one of our international MSc programs, including the MSc IT. Just leave your contact details in the Facebook chat, or send it to your campus friends, counselor or office in India, and we'll be in touch with you. But just apply. And also something very important, the MSc IT calendar has slightly changed, and the first intake is in February. And we're very hopeful that the whole virus situation will be done by then. So you can apply until October 2020 for the Master 1 intake. So just go ahead, you have plenty of time, we're here to help, and just think about Rudresh and see how successful he is. And yeah, we're waiting for you.
Thank you so much, Francis. Indeed, an excellent choice for the higher studies and remains, of course, one of the most affordable destination among Indian students.
Yes.
Before I sign off, I would like to thank you once again to all of you for your time and support. Through this webinar, we hope to reach aspiring students, scholars from all over India who wish to study and follow their dreams in France. As we sign off, I would like to inform all our audiences that we will be conducting another research-based thematic session on marine sciences on 11th June. Also, if you have any comment, queries, do not forget to leave them in the comment section below, and we will get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you once again. Good evening.
Thank you, Menaakshi. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
everyone.